December 7th, 2013, July 30th, 2015, 3 lives lost in 2 devastating crashes, with one potential connection.
A Vermont couple killed just driving down Interstate 89 when a former Fortune 500 CEO smashed into them in what prosecutors say was a botched suicide attempt.
Another Barre woman in a separate case was charged with murder today after authorities say she killed someone else while attempting to take her own life.
In both crashes, a car went barreling across the highway median. Police say the drivers of the out-of-control cars, Robert Dellinger and Carrie Benore, were trying to kill themselves.
These types of collisions are scary because you're just driving and all of a sudden can come across the road.
Lieutenant Gary Scott, commander of the Vermont State Police Traffic Safety Unit, says after a deadly crash, police start with the final resting place of the car and work back to the point of impact. In these 2 crashes, that point of impact was another car. Wilder residents and soon-to-be newlyweds Jason Timmons and Amanda Murphy died in the 2013 crash. Richmond EMT and father of 3, Brendan Cousineau, was killed this summer. Without being able to speak specifically to those cases, Lieutenant Scott says in all fatal crashes, there are a number of factors they look for. Did the driver apply brakes or try to avoid the collision? An inspection. Was anything mechanically wrong with the car? Was there a medical emergency, like a heart attack or stroke? What did the drivers do in the day leading up to the crash?
A lot of investigations, we know what happened. We don't know why it always happens.
Investigators also have to determine if the driver was trying to take their own life. It's rare, Lieutenant Scott says. He can only think of 3 confirmed cases in 10 years, but he believes there are probably more. They're just incredibly hard to prove.
Usually we have some indication of something going on, but I'm sure there's cases where that happens, so there's just no communication prior, and they just cross the center line, and we probably could account that to distracted driving or something else.
A fiery crash in Waterbury claimed a life last night.
20 years on the force, Waterbury Police Chief Joby Fisha says a fiery crash in 2008 was the worst he's seen. On the night of July 2nd, he says 46-year-old Teddy Ainsworth came barreling off the interstate and smashed into the rock ledge. An autopsy confirmed that he died instantly.
It's a pretty straight shot, and 80 miles an hour off the off-ramp, we quickly started asking questions.
The well-known and well-liked local man had left a note.
I felt bad for his kids, and I felt bad for his mom and dad and his brothers and sisters. I still do.
Waterbury police respond to several suicides a year. Most happen in private. The chief says this was different.
The act of suicide is a very difficult behavior to make sense of.
Dr. Neil Metzner says every case is different and complicated. He's the director of crisis services for the Howard Center. Depression can be like a vortex, pulling you deeper and deeper into your sadness, making the world seem smaller.
Relief at any means. And so again, you're not thinking about what that relief means.
In those dark moments when someone wants to end it all, he guesses their minds are full of hopelessness, not thinking about how actions affect others.
I believe that the person is absolutely not saying, I'm going to choose that car, I'm going to choose, and I can see that person in the windshield, behind the wheel, and even has any thought of the person behind. They're very, very focused on their own selves and their own impulsive act.
Those impulsive acts can have disastrous consequences. In the 2 most recent cases, the driver survived. Dellinger and Benore's lawyers both now claim it wasn't suicide. Dellinger will spend at least 8 years behind bars for that crash, and Benore is awaiting trial. Crashes that have left loved ones, family, and friends to struggle with so many unanswered questions. Allie Freeman, Channel 3 News.